So it's Saha for the memories, Jamel, but it's time to say goodbye as Jamel Belmadi has officially been relieved of his duties, announced by the Algerian FA president, Walid Saadi. It's been confirmed it's an amicable agreement, so it's effectively a mutual termination of the contract. So I expect Belmadi won't be paid out the remainder of the contract because it lasts until the 2026 World Cup in the summer, which is 2.5 years away, is it not? So that's a hefty lot of money when you consider he's the most paid manager in Africa. Or should I say he was the most paid manager in Africa. We said going into the tournament, I told you many times, there was an option to end the contract should Algeria exit before the semi-final stage. And boy, did they do that once again. I still cannot believe we literally repeated what happened 2 years ago. In fact, even before Belmadi came in, 3 of the last 4 AFCONs, we've gone out in the group. And the other one we won. It really is Algeria, all or nothing. And this is with third place teams going through. We still somehow cannot see to get over the line. But nonetheless, Belmadi has gone. He done quite well. Joined in 2018, left in 2024, took Algeria to 3 Africa Cup of Nations. Not many managers can say they did that. Captained Algeria as a player, managed the national team, and also doubled the number of stars on the t-shirt. So we say thank you to Belmadi for your service. Yes, it got sour at the end, but it's like they say, you are the hero, but you live long enough to become the villain. And ultimately, that seems to be what's happened with Jamel. The FA president has promised a new era of glory for Algerian football. Last time we appointed a manager, he went and won a trophy the year after. Are we going to see the same this time with AFCON just less than 2 years away? Remember, this current one is delayed by 6 months, so could be 18 months, could be 12 months till we see another AFCON again. Of course, it is in Morocco. Look, we were fearful when we were told the AFCON was in Egypt. We'd say we'd never win an AFCON in Egypt. Look how that one panned out. So do not rule out winning it in North Africa. After all, the 2 we've won were in North Africa. So the big question on everyone's mind, who's going to take the job? Should we go through some potential realistic candidates? I do not want to hear people saying Zinedine Zidane or Jose Mourinho, because it's not going to happen. Realistic candidates. Number 1 is Hervé Renard. Hervé Renard has won AFCON twice with Zambia and with Ivory Coast. One of the most experienced dons in African football, and of course managed Morocco as well and took them. He didn't win an AFCON with them. He took them to a World Cup, which apparently is a trophy these days in the eyes of the Moroccans. So he's got big experience both in going to AFCONs, winning them, and also going to World Cups as well with African nations. The thing is, he would be on a lot of wages. Of course, he speaks French, as the players do, most of them. And he's managed Yousma before, Yousma Alger, a club in Algeria. So he has coached in Algeria before. Would he take the job? The question is, what's he going to do at his current job? Because he's currently managing the French women's national team. I think there's some irony if he left French birds for Algerian men. Not many people would do that. But nonetheless, his contract with the French women's team, I think, runs until the end of the Olympic Games, is it? So that's going to be this summer. Would Algeria look to wait until he becomes available in the summer, should he leave that job, or move elsewhere? Which brings me on to the second candidate, which is Majid Bougara. Now, not only can you bring in Bougara to take the job, you could also bring him in part-time. There's games coming up, cup the friendlies, and then that gives you time to get the new man in. Of course, Algeria have huge World Cup qualifiers come the summer, of which we're off to the perfect start, and once again, thanks to Belmadi. Would Bougara come? I reckon he'd take it in a heartbeat. Should Bougara come is the real question. Of course, won the Arab Cup with some of the players in the squad at the moment, but you look at the likes of Belali and Tougai and Bounedjah and Mboulehi, and many of these players people want gone now and could retire. They're some of Bougara's favourites as well. He'd love to take the job. I'm sure he'd take it. Of course, he's played at the World Cup as well, scored the goal against Faso that took us to the World Cup. Magic Bougara, as he was once known. Has he got enough experience? I mean, Belmadi was at Qatar for a while. Bougara, I don't know, he's currently managing a club in the Middle East, not a national team, but a club. Listen, yes, he won the Arab Cup. He choked the Chan in our own garden to Senegal on penalties. He managed that team with the likes of Belaid in defence, who of course went on to go to the AFCON, and Mahious, who is now in Switzerland. Many people watching this want an Algerian coach. They want the manager of Algeria to be Algerian. The question is, have we got a good Algerian manager that's available? I think Bougherra would be top of the list if you want an Algerian coach. But is he top of the overall list? I'm not sure. I think Bougherra is the safe option if your prime targets are unavailable. So we'll see how that one pans out. The third option, which I quite like, is Carlos Queiroz, the Portuguese former Real Madrid manager, former assistant at Manchester United, managed Egypt at the previous AFCON and took them to the final where he lost on penalties to Senegal. An experienced man. Was he not managing Colombia when we beat them 3-0 or something? He's been around. Like I said, he's been at Real Madrid, he's been in the Premier League, he's worked with the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson. His CV, his record is second to none. Would he suit Algeria's style of play? Completely different to Belmadi and keeping the ball for 80% of the time. He would be counter-attack, tight at the back, win games with the odd goal. That would be the Carlos Queiroz way. He guarantees wins. Whether you like watching them or not, he guarantees wins. Give him the tools and I think he will deliver. It's a shout I like. But again, would he take it? Unlike the first two managers, Renard and Bougherra, Carlos Queiroz is currently available because he's not managing a team at the moment after leaving the Qatar job before the Asian Cup. So that's a route I could see Algeria exploring. And the final one I could see happening is the tried, trusted and tested former manager of Algeria, Vahid Halilhodzic, who despite managing Morocco for many years, I think his heart is still very much with Algeria. He lost that World Cup last 16 game to Germany. That was his last game in charge. The president begged him to stay. The country begged him to stay. He was offered an Algerian passport, Algerian citizenship. Would Halilhodzic, would Agent Vahid come back? The nation loves him. The nation loves Halilhodzic. Okay, what he did with that World Cup team is what people talk about a lot. And listen, I know he went out in an AFCON in the group stage, but then he rectified it. Listen, we got to the World Cup, and look how hard that's been to do. He is the last man to take Algeria to the World Cup, ultimately. If he came in, that would be his priority task again, I'm sure. Bit older now, had a few jobs in between, of course. Again, experienced, PSG, Ivory Coast, Morocco. He's been around, he knows what to do. Slimani was thanks to him, and he's still playing for us now. The likes of Soudani he found as well. Belkalem he found. This guy looks at Algerian local talent as well as the diaspora in Europe. I think for me that's the one I'd love in terms of the sentimental choice to bringing Vahid back. Like my heart loves it, but does my head love it? That's the question. Has he got unfinished business? Has he got an AFCON in him with Algeria? The people will be behind Vahid. Let's see what Algeria do. But it's thank you, Jamel Belmadi, for the AFCON. We know it's ended badly, but we cannot forget the memories that we'll talk about for years to come to the next generations of how he rocked up to Cairo, took the trophy and brought it back to Algiers. Thank you for watching and let me know who your candidate is in the comments down below and I'll see you next time. And also, please don't say we should appoint Amrouche. No.